Excuse me. Your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
It's the most emotional experience that a person can go through to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people.
Oh my God.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up and do the job.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Weird.
I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
They're remaking the movie. They just got rid of the dwarfs. Okay,
but what do they call them?
Why
now,
would they
too?
get rid of the dwarves, though?
Magical creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it. The disability, like we're a disability group. You just erased that whole image. The argument should have been from Peter Dinklage. There's power of being on TV. There's power of television. And to put 7 people with dwarfism on camera in a major Disney movie, there's still power there. If the story is offensive, change the story. Don't change the characters.
This is no ordinary apple, my dear. It's a magic wishing apple. A wishing apple? You offer it to me freely. In place of the patriarchy, you would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable! I will become the leader I know I can be! All shall love me and despair!
Oh, what has she done to you? Fear not. First Love's kiss can break any curse.
I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
Oh, really? Are you having trouble paying your bills, Rachel? Did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, like, cry me a river? She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
I know this point has been made, but this truly is the worst casting maybe in the history of the film industry.
There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings.
Largemouth Rachel Zegler just experienced yet another significant humiliation. From The Simpsons, this time with their vicious satire of Rachel and her Snow White catastrophe, The Simpsons are going straight for the throat in their upcoming episode. Snowoke the Reimagining is the title of the fictitious film that is included in the episode. Indeed, it is just what you believe it to be. A complete parody of Disney's botched attempt to update a timeless Rachel Zegler is already overwhelmed by negative press, fan animosity, and humiliation at the box office.
It got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2.
Disney was humiliated by the pixelated block movie Minecraft Yes, which totally destroyed Rachel Zegler's Snow White. The studio never anticipated that one of their most recognizable fairy tales would be ruined by casting Rachel. Before she began to run her mouth, no one had heard of her.
And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
But the theaters were deserted. People recorded themselves entering showings where they were the only people present.
I am walking into Snow White, 2 p.m., now seating. Let's see how empty it is. I hope it's off the book we go. I hope. Sound like I hear a couple of people.
And now, on national television, The Simpsons are making fun of her. A joke that will be seen by all Rachel's close friends claim that she is enraged. She is not giggling. Not even close, she is portrayed in the animation as a tone-deaf, self-obsessed girl boss who is totally disconnected from reality. And let's face it, a lot of people concur. As if things couldn't get worse, Rachel Zegler is attempting to flee the catastrophe and Snow White's complete failure, while The Simpsons are busy making fun of her.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it. All right.
Only a few days after Disney allegedly requested that Rachel Zegler reimburse them for the complete catastrophe that was Snow White, she abruptly stopped talking. The actress, who has been embroiled in a significant controversy, has finally left the public eye. No social media and no interviews, nothing.
The producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
People are like, oh wow, Snow White flopped. Who is surprised? You cast arguably the least genuine, most out of touch and disliked person in her industry, and her industry is Hollywood. And the bad guy is Gal Gadot.
For months, critics have been arguing precisely this. And now that Rachel Zegler is already drowning in negative publicity, one of the most venerable TV programs, The Simpsons, is dragging her along. To be honest, this may be her most embarrassing incident to date.
Well, we all basically knew that Snow White was going to be a massive failure at the box office because of Rachel Zegler's controversial statement.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
You must go back in time to what was once a Cinderella tale in the making in order to comprehend how we got here. The next big thing in Hollywood was Rachel Zegler. She was chosen to play the lead in Disney's live-action Snow White adaptation following her highly praised performance in West Side Story. It ought to have been her most significant event. However, everything took off as soon as the project was revealed. Rachel's interviews soon became the focus of attention, not because of the film itself, but because of the discussion that surrounded it.
Rachel Zegler just keeps making things worse with the Walt Disney Company. The more that she tries to defend this movie, the more that she tries to spew her agenda onto the general public, it's only making matters worse. Not just for Bob Iger, but for whatever is left of the image of Disney as a whole.
Behind the scenes, you guys know as well as I do that those executives like Spielberg are looking at that, saying, Rachel Zegler can F right off.
Her sound bites mostly focused on criticizing the first movie rather than the character's legacy or her joy at playing such a well-loved part. She claimed that the prince in the 1937 cartoon practically chases her in one now viral clip and that the plot was strange and out of date. The internet took off.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. Weird.
It wasn't simply a take for a lot of fans. She seemed to be making fun of the very core of the classic that she was being compensated to represent.
I just want to tell you guys about a incredible movie that just came out, Snow White. Wow. I just got to tell you, best movie I've seen in years, and there have been some really good films lately. Madam Web, Rebel Moon Part 1, that movie, that transgender one with the Mexican drug lord. But Snow White blows them all away. Chat, this movie has everything. Horrifying, CGI, little people, check. A feminist princess who don't need no man, double check. Diddy dance party at the end. Double Diddy check. All this to say, go see Snow White right now. The new one. Not that old stupid one where the princess gets saved by some good, upstanding guy.
Particularly as more interview footage appeared online, the reaction continued to intensify. While some refer to her as daring and modern, Snow White came across to most as haughty, rude, and totally out of touch.
Did the dwarfs make it or no?
Well, the CGI dwarfs did. Of course, that goes back to the original controversy where Peter Dinklage, a very talented little person actor, said, Why are we doing that? We've hired a Latina actress to be Snow White. That's progressive. But you're going to hire little people to play the dwarfs? That just seems like a step backwards. And then, of course, Disney instantly buckled and said, okay, we're going to add magical creatures.
Then they got even crazier and they decided that the dwarves in Snow White weren't woke enough, okay?
You're replacing jobs that people could have as little people. Okay. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it's for dwarfs, you know?
The expression girl boss online, Snow White began to gain popularity, but not in a positive way. All of Rachel's words were suddenly being dissected. More criticism was generated by each quotation, red carpet interview, and public appearance. Fans felt as though the magic of Snow White was fading away in front of them rather than being excited, but one moment made matters worse. Her uncomfortable relationship with co-star Galadoo at award shows and press conferences, people couldn't help but notice their odd body language, and it was hard to ignore during the Oscars.
They've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, and how they had her tweet out like a little, yay, Snow White, can't wait, so excited, I love to play her. And she did it and got like millions of views, and they were like, good job, Rachel. And then she, like, minutes later followed it up with, and never forget, free Palestine.
And isn't her co-star Jewish?
Yes, Gal Gadot, whatever.
Gadot. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
They tried, they flew an executive, one of the producers, out to go visit personally with Rachel Zegler to say, could you please take that down? Because we understand you can have your political views, but those aren't really helpful while you're trying to build an audience for a movie. Maybe you could save them for like your diary and your friends, but like maybe not, maybe just take the tweet down. And she wouldn't.
That my name is Gal and I'm Jewish. And we have had enough of Jew hatred.
Please welcome Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot.
Visual effects push the boundaries of what we see on screen.
Their work makes the impossible seem possible.
With breathtaking ambition, they create magic that wraps its arms around our wildest imaginations.
Here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
Fans saw little chemistry and very little connection between them when they presented together on stage. There were rumors that Gal had decided to distance herself from the scandal and that things weren't exactly cordial behind the scenes. As all of this was going on, Disney was uncharacteristically silent. Nothing significant has changed in terms of direction or messaging. Everything is operating as usual. However, the movie itself wasn't engaging viewers.
Zegler would be a miscast in that sense. Instead, she gets her name from surviving a snowstorm.
That audiences walk away from this film with an understanding of the true meaning of fairness, of what it means to be fair in this world. There is a message that's been carried on for almost 90 years now from the original animated classic. That is, fairness is what is within. Fairness is to do with your heart, the way you treat the people around you, and it has nothing to do with what you look like, and that's the misunderstanding between Snow White and the Evil Queen. I think it's such an important message, and the way that Disney has elevated it and brought it to this new audience is very special.
When Snow White debuted in theaters, Disney's entire marketing apparatus was in place. However, ticket sales were stagnant. It was not saved by name recognition, and the film swiftly rose to prominence as one of the studio's most contentious remakes.
Alex, what has been the reaction to Disney's latest expensive own goal?
Well, the reaction has been absolutely horrible. It is the worst box office from a Disney live action remake that they've ever done.
I mean, they're projected to lose between $2 and $400 million on this.
Thanks to a vicious Simpsons parody, that failure has been ingrained in popular culture. Classic Springfield sarcasm cuts right to the heart. What ought to have been Rachel Zegler's breakthrough moment instead became an example of how a daring rebrand may go too far. Regardless of your opinion of her contemporary interpretation, the controversy surrounding this movie ensured that Snow White would be remembered for all the wrong reasons.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
After the excitement subsided, the data revealed the truth. The IMDb score plummeted to 1.6, one of Disney's lowest ever, and the box office performance was poor. Instead of simply ignoring the movie, viewers applauded its failure by posting memes and Reddit posts titled, "How Not to Market a Movie," on social media. Then, things became more bizarre. Within hours, a phony OnlyFans account featuring an artificial intelligence picture of Rachel went viral. Even though it was false, thousands of people believed it, demonstrating how her reputation had deteriorated to the point where even an outrageous rumor seemed plausible.
The movie is doing catastrophically. They spent $300 million and it currently has a 2.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
The movie has a major identity crisis.
This is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
It's got extra musical numbers that are incredibly unnecessary that really add to that runtime. And let me go ahead and let you know that they're absolutely atrocious.
Disney deleted Someday My Prince Will Come and made a modernized feminist alternative.
I sat through the whole thing. This was really bad. It was extremely leftist on every political dimension: racial politics, sexual politics, class politics, regime politics. Its narrative was cowardly. It was just awful.
Hollywood saw that casting calls that had previously featured her name had quietly moved on to projects that were rumored to have her replaced or shelved. She went from being Disney's next big thing to a brand risk in just 1 year. As the dust was starting to settle, The Simpsons hit, adding more headlines to the story of a young actress collapsing under pressure from her highly public separation with actor Josh Andreas Rivera. I end their Snow Oak the Reimagining episode. Rachel Z watches her movie bomb in an empty theater, lectures the villages, and bans Princes before losing it at Krusty the Clown's performance. When Springfield makes fun of you, you go from being famous to becoming a spectacle. There is yet time for a return. A redemption arc is popular in Hollywood, but it's not easy to achieve. The public outcry and studio silence following the box office debacle have severely damaged Rachel's reputation. The world is now watching to see if she can put everything back together or if that satire about yellow skin simply penned her fairy tale's last sentence.